We're inside the Lorain County Children's Services Coaches Corner. I'm with Coach Kevin Fell of the Elyria Pioneers. I'm Nick Hurst. Coach, this marks the midway point of the season as you go up against Mayfield coming up this week. Coach, evaluate the team's performance so far. You had a close call in Amherst, but since then it's been relatively smooth sailing, had a couple quality wins. Just talk about the season so far.
Well, you're right. We struggled mightily at Amherst. Statistically, we won the battles, but we barely won the war. And the rest of the time, we've played a little better each week. We've eliminated some penalties. We've eliminated some just all-around stupid football that we really didn't do in scrimmages. They kind of all came out early, and we've played pretty well week to week. The last couple of weeks, Midview and Valley Forge last week in the second half, we've played pretty good football. We seem to be getting better, but again, we're 4-0, and we really face the meat of our schedule here these next 6 weeks.
Talk about some of the players that have stepped up for you so far.
Well, we're primarily known as an offensive football team, especially this year when we have a lot of offensive kids back. But I really think the key to our team this year has been defense, and we've had some kids that have played well for us defensively really for the last 2 years. Tavon Cummings and Connor Kamchek are our two linebackers who both are outstanding linebackers and played last year. We lost, obviously, a really fine football player, Tracy Sprinkle, last year in Elyria. But we replaced him this year. Devin Reed and a couple of other guys have come in and just done a great job for us. I think probably the key defensively, though, is our secondary is solidified and it's played really well. Zach Robinson is a 2-year starter at safety, and we seem to be a little better back there. Offensively, we've got the usual guys back. Hunter Parsh is a 2-year starter at quarterback. We've got 2 3-year running backs in Jordan Connell and Jamar Lewis, and Tavon Kurtz at split end. And those guys are our skill guys. Darius Badford and Seth Billings are both back in the offensive line. And so we've been pretty good offensively.
Now, this team has been real close to making the playoffs the last couple years, and is this something you're kind of looking at? And now that the early playoff rankings are now available, I believe you guys are 4th in Division I, Region 1 right now.
Ironically, we've been 7-2 going into Game 10 the last 2 years, and Game 10 has been Mayfield Heights, and Mayfield Heights has beat us both years in a row. Probably neither time we would think they should have. They were both real close games and real hard-fought games. So Mayfield Heights is a very big game for us. This year they've rotated the schedule and we play them Game 5. But we consider Mayfield Heights to be the best team we play all year, and I think it's going to be one heck of a football game.
And has that been kind of an incentive for the team this year, get maybe a little vengeance for the last couple years, been able to miss out on the playoffs and they've been able to springboard into the playoffs?
Well, it's been kind of different guys 2 years ago. Last year, though, a lot of these guys were on the field, and we did not play very well in the first half against Mayfield, and we were down 27-0, but at one time I think it was tied 27-all. And it was a heck of a football game last year, and we would really like a chance to play well tonight.
All right, and getting to this Mayfield team, what do you know about them? What have you kind of been looking at this season to change from the last couple years?
Well, Mayfield's an awful lot like us. They seem to reload every year. They run a very similar offense to us. They're a spread team. They like to throw the ball. They've thrown the ball successfully for the last 3 years. Before that, they were a running team, and they had some really nice running backs. Defensively, they've always been a very tough football team. This year, they're a relatively new defense, but they seem to be weekly getting better. And the last 2 weeks, they've played really nice defense.
And what kind of things have you been pressing on the team this week in practice as you go forward with this game?
Well, we've been, I think, in the last 2 years against Mayfield, 5 of their touchdowns have been on they call the wheel route, which is basically up and out. And so obviously we've been working hard on the wheel, but we worked hard on it for 2 years before that too and couldn't stop it. So we think that, one of the keys is our ability to stop their offense. We cannot just let them run up and down the field.
And you mentioned the keys. Now we'll sum up this interview with, what are some other things that you want to see out of the team to be able to come up on top against this Mayfield team?
Well, I think in a game like this, and it's going to be a very, very close football game, I think special teams obviously are going to play a big key. You got to have a kicker, you got to have a punt team. You can't let special teams let you down. Last year they ran a kickoff back against us, and that was the difference in the game. and we have to make sure we're come out even or hopefully ahead there. Secondly, I think defensively, we've got to play with them. We've got to make them work for everything. Offensively, we'll take care of ourselves. We'll move the ball and we'll score some points, and hopefully we'll score more than they do.
All right, Coach, and thanks for joining us today. And that was Coach Kevin Fell, the Elyria Pioneers, and we'll be right back here on WDLW.